guys, it's your girl Latanya Vibes, and welcome to Soul and Soil Podcast. This is not an official episode, but I had a touch base for a Reset Sunday. Reset Sunday, yes. I think this is maybe my second or third Reset Sunday. But if I wasn't resetting, how was I gonna come to y'all with the goods and the gems? So I'm finally back into prioritizing Reset Sunday, especially now that that time changed. Now that time change, I don't know how many other people got to witness the time change. I woke up this earlier. It was bright as hell outside, which signaled to my brain, oh shit, we're late. I don't know to what. It is Sunday morning, but it signaled to my brain we're late. I checked that timer. It said 6. I said, yo, look at that blessing. And I love when those things kind of like just happen upon me. I remember I was hyper focused on knowing when the time switched and stuff before, and I would feel it. Now I have a more detached relationship with it and just flow through things like that. So yeah, last night I got some rest. I woke up feeling well rested. Then I woke and I was like, I was going to go to church this morning, but I was just kind of like, you can meet God and Jesus Christ at Bedside Baptist, and I did, and I did. So I slept, got some more rest because I genuinely just need that. I'm also, you just need the rest right now, especially in the spiritual season, especially in the physical season. We're all witnessing like the season changes and things like that. And yeah, so let's get into Reset Sunday and what kind of come amongst me for the message. Okay. So the title for today is going to be Perhaps I have been pouring too much into my parasocial relationships. Question mark. End quote. Yes, yes, Latanya's coming for your neck again. Okay, we're coming for your neck again. We are going to tackle, and I don't know how many people actually, or how many of my soulies in here actually know what a parasocial relationship is. I am going to kind of tap into that, but I'm going to kind of like get into, yeah, I'm going to explain that first and then we'll tap in. So, a parasocial relationship is a relationship that I feel like is cultivated off of okay, so here's how I'm going to categorize it to make it simple because I feel like sometimes we be wanting to sound a little too smart, and it's like you want people to receive what you're saying, but you're not talking or meeting them where they're at. So I'm gonna meet y'all where y'all at and where I be at most of the time, right? Uh, Interpersonal connections are like your friends, family, coworkers. These are people that you have relationships with in your community, within your real like this physical realm, right? I would like to look at parasocial relationships because sometimes parasocial relationships can be both ways or one sided. A lot of the times, especially with the influencer culture, content creator culture, parasocial relationships are a lot more one sided. And I don't know, sometimes I've seen the beautiful things of it, I've seen the blessing in it, I'm seeing like the communities that's birthed in it, but also it's like this parasocial relationship to you want to see somebody do good, but then you also want to see them fall. And it's like you want to watch the fucking fall in front of you. And to me, it's a little bit weird. I don't believe that you have to agree with what everyone does. And I do believe that some of us do need correction in our thoughts, perspectives. But I just feel like right now, everybody's in this, like, it's not even cancel culture. It's in this, I want to expose people, but the people that they're trying to expose to people, the people that they're trying to expose are not even people in their direct community. They're not talking about Uncle Willie who's been touching on kids. They want to talk about the celebrities that they have never been in the room with and just going. And I'm not saying that half of these allegations ain't true because that's not what I'm, Latanya. Okay, I'm not saying that the allegations aren't true. What I'm saying is the people who be so pressed in getting like street justice, people who be wanting to tear people down, a lot of the relationships that they're trying to tear down are not even their actual interpersonal connections, and they don't even haven't for one know how to form new ones. Let's get into it because of parasocial relationships. You're not learning how to form interpersonal connections, or you're prioritizing the parasocial relationships over the relationships that you have currently in your life. Like you're not even pouring into that. You're more tuned into what someone else is doing in their fucking life than you are in your own and the people around you. And I see that kind of coming about because I've been seeing like a lot of story times where people are bashing people in their lives, but they be holding down these motherfucking or yeah, they be holding down these people that they don't know online, taking people's advice from people that they don't like. These people have no fucking scope of who you are, and you over here looking for advice from that. Let's not. So boom, let's interpersonal connections and parasocial connections. How this came about was So Kiki Palmer had released one of her new projects or one of her collaboration projects on her new site, Key TV. This also came about when I was seeing, who else was it? Tyler the Creator, that was another one. Tyler the Creator in his recent thing, or exploitation that people try to do on social media and make this a big ass deal. All the things I've noticed, especially with, let's say, celeb culture, influencer culture, content creator culture, I'm realizing that people do not know how to connect in real life with just the people in their space, in their community. When I go to, like, I work on a college campus, and so when I go to college campuses, I'm seeing the age range of like your elders, and then you got your young niggas. Okay, so we got the youngest of the young niggas, and we got the elders, and I'm seeing even from the elders, like the elders have a better way, or they seem like they have a grasp on how to handle interpersonal connections because they're not focused, hyper focused, and leaning on their parasocial relationships. A lot of them don't because they don't have social media. So when you're bringing up these content creators and shit, they don't even know what the fuck you're talking about because they're worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry that's in their real life, right? Whereas, especially the younger generations, I feel like we have, especially because of COVID, where COVID had a bitch locked in, everybody was locked in the house, so you had nothing but to lean on content and other people's lives and how they're living it, right? And it was a beautiful thing just to see the diversity of how people live. But people are suffering from social anxiety to where it's like they have a whole new personality or a whole new perspective of, or ideology of who they are when they're on social media, but like they don't even pour that much into themselves. And this is not a personal attack on anybody. I feel like in all ways we've all kind of leaned into that because, like I said, I came from a generation where we had to kind of prioritize connecting with people, but also we shifted into that social media age hella quickly. And a lot of us, it was for our good, especially when you were going into like college, moving away. It was ways for you to find community. But the issue is, when do you stop building the in person community that you have and redirecting the focus of the parasocial relationships? Some people do spend upward to 8 to 12 hours a day on social media, consuming other people's lives. And sometimes, like, that's my notion to get off social media. Sometimes, if I'm going on there, I post my little stuff, like, get my little 1, 2 out, right? Post my little content, then also post a podcast, right? When I'm in that space, sometimes you'll like, because it holds you. Like, Instagram is notorious for this, and TikTok. When you're trying to post your content and go, you have to stay online so that it can upload and do the things, which I feel like that's a business wise. I see what you're doing, and I like the motive. I like the little concept behind that. But on the other side, the one that's receiving that, it's like bullshit because it's like, babe, I don't want to be on here. I'm just supposed to post and go, receive. You know what I'm saying? Put it out there and go. And now I'm over here slight scrolling for 30 minutes because it takes about 30 minutes for a video to upload. So as I'm sitting there, normally what ticks my brain off is I'd be like, why the fuck are you so tuned into what somebody else is doing? You could actually be living life right now. And that's literally, I mean, you don't have to talk to yourself like that, but that's how I turn that shit off and then tap back into my real world and realize like you get mad about the relationships not working in your real life, but think about how many hours and how much time you spend following people from high school, especially for the Facebook girlies. I'm not talking about the other social media because I feel like other platforms, they don't really necessarily show you the people in your area, in your space. They have an algorithm for that, right? So you're never really seeing the people in your area. But for the people who use those more community based platforms where you build your platform in your community, and normally it's amongst the people that's in your real life that you have on there, right? Think about the people that you have been following since high school. Like y'all went to high school, and that's probably when y'all got like y'all were added each other, right? But now it's 10 years later, 5 years later, 6 years later, and you didn't watch this person's whole entire life from a social media post. You didn't went to weddings virtually. You didn't went to baby showers virtually. You didn't went to people getting new homes virtually. You didn't went to they vacay, the girls trip virtually. You didn't went everywhere with these people virtually. But what have you done for yourself? And then when you get offline, you have this sense of feeling of like, damn, I wasted my time. You did. And a lot of times we try to talk ourselves out of it. No, I was vision boarding. I was affirming. I was seeing what is out there. All the bullshit we tell ourselves to feel comfortable about us wasting our time. I realized me personally, I had that. Like, so I was one of those people where I kind of benefited from the community because I moved out of state, right? So this is why I'm saying I see the benefits, but then also Latanya had went through her own chaos to realize that shit ain't worth it's not worth it. And this is also a tip that I also share with business owners or entrepreneurs. Everyone is spending so fucking much money online advertising, and people are not seeing the stuff that you put because it's not even aligned with the algorithm. Okay, they're pushing their own fucking agenda in the algorithm. So all these ads and stuff that we are paying for as an entrepreneur, you're wasting your fucking funds when you can spend that much time cultivating a plan on how to make interpersonal connections with your customers, with your target market. No, listen, I love a good business. I love a good spirituality, and I love how all those things align, all, like at source, right? So, anyways, that was my. I always tell people, especially after COVID, I was like, listen, I feel like we all need to start redirecting our focus from these parasocial relationships, even with brands and corporations. Look at how the parasocial relationships went there, pre DEI, post DEI. Look at how those parasocial relationships they built. They felt like, ooh, this is a good space virtually to build connections with our audiences. We don't necessarily have to have great customer service in person. We don't necessarily have to continue to promote our coupons or spend funds versus into physically promoting when we could just pay a content creator a few some cute little coin, right? Get her presence, get her engagement, bring it over here, and then maybe we build an audience off of something like that, something that went viral. Even that's how they do a lot of that. Like they'll find someone that goes viral off of doing something unintentionally. Now it's their brand. Now they're running with this little comedic. You have never been comedic. Wendy's has been comedic from day one, okay? But a lot of y'all's motherfucking brands, y'all wanted to have this prestige about you, and now you're trying to come out with this comical vibe. I'm not liking that. And you're using your content creators to produce that. But in those parasocial relationships, I've seen where it has cost a business because, for one, because there's no physical locations, because people are not having constant interaction with you in the physical, all they can go off of is what's going on virtually. And so, say you neglect one market or one part of your market, say you offend a part of your like the demographic, for instance, especially with a lot of the when I brought up DEI, this is why I brought that up. A lot of them leaned on that to build their audience, to build their target markets, to build their connections and customers. And then once they chose to make a business move, whether we know what the fucking business move is about or not, because I don't even want to get into all that, they make their own choice in a business move to do something. But because of the parasocial relationships that a lot of their customers had with them, look at the fucking adverse Target and which rolled into the protest and all the things, which is why I'm saying like sometimes it's better to just have personal pour into your interpersonal connections, whether you're an entrepreneur or just in your personal life. Like even me, it is so there's a whole community of hate or anti for every group. Anti we don't like our moms, anti we don't get along with our family, anti this, anti that, anti I'm beefing with my coworkers. There's so many fucking online communities for that. There's not one community showing you how to build interpersonal connections in real life. Everything is pulling you right back out to the parasocial relationships that don't matter. And again, you're watching these people and live their life when you could spend the same amount of time that you watch in that 1 minute reel to set an intent, set a goal, or create a hobby for yourself. And as much watch time, if you look at that damn iPhone, the time that it gives you for like as long as you've been online or whatever, if you spend 8 hours a fucking day, 7 days that week, on social media, think about how much you could have actually done. And I've had days like that. I have a journal, and I think I shared it in the last Mental Health Monday. And it was basically taking yourself offline. Mind you, I'm not chronically online, but I still feel like, babe, you could still take a little bit more time in the fucking real world, right? And so when I was studying how much I was doing, the journal kind of prompted me to choose some hobbies or tasks, whatever the fuck I wanted to put on a list of things I'm doing offline. It made me kind of hold myself accountable to the things I set out, set intentions for the day, kind of set out a roadmap for myself. If I do find myself scrolling, how the fuck do we redirect? And it makes you track a day and nighttime. So you come back and you reflect on how your day was. Was your energy? Did you have more energy? Did you have more attention and focus? All the things. All the things. Right? And so once I did that journal, I realized how much I was leaning on my own parasocial relationships. I used to say I was doing research whole time. Babe, now when people pass in, you feeling it like you lost somebody in your real life whole time. you're not even close to a lot of the people in your real life in the way that you crying over a motherfucking celebrity that you've never met or an influencer that you've never even came across paths with. And that's what I was saying. When I see a lot of influencers or content creators or celebrities pass, I'm seeing this big outrage. But like, think about the empty funeral, yeah, the funeral ceremonies that people have. That their people don't even show up for them in real life, and a lot of times they weren't showing up or pouring into their interpersonal connections themselves. Because a lot of times we'd love to put the finger outside, but babe, starts with you first, bitch. It starts with you. So yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. I was seeing it through death, how a lot of people was impacted. Also, the parasocial relationships in this season, when you're trying to understand yourself, when you're going through like a season of self discovery on a deeper level, not that surface level shit. We're not talking about doing the hobbies and taking the pictures and creating the mood boards. We're talking about actually physically doing the things that make you uncomfortable that you've been saying that you want to do, but you found every fucking reason not to, right? Like I used to love to dance in public, like nobody's fucking watching. I'm giving performance, I'm giving music video, right? And after being attached to the cringe culture of social media and the parasocial relationships I've had with people who kind of have that same they have the same mindset as me because I do have parasocial relationships to people that are like-minded, and I feel like that's how a lot of us do, and that's a fucking bad place to be. You should not ever be in a space where you're around everybody that thinks exactly the same as you because there's no correction in that. You need some people that have some diverse opinions, diverse thoughts, some shit that might be like, I don't agree with that, but I see where you're going. And you also are making me question my point. And I feel like we don't have a lot of that because if you think about the parasocial relationships, it's forcing you to follow like the cult culture, like all of the listen. And I know y'all might want to tag me in the comments. I don't give a fuck. The beehives, the barbs, all the people that the Swifties, all of the people, right? It's cult like behavior because babe, pour that much energy into your own relationships. You want to be a wife like Taylor? Go motherfucking get into this real world and meet your man. Okay? Meet your Travis Kelsey. You two tapped into what that lady doing. Mind your business. Same thing with the girl, I guess the ex-girlfriend. People every time I get on threads, I don't even follow that shit. Okay. Didn't know who she was prior to that. But the parasocial relationships that people have with her, it's on my timeline. And seeing it, it's all right, y'all. So to end this message is basically saying, as a parent, because I think I was touching on that. As a mother, I was realizing that it's my children are going to learn how to build relationships with people based off of what they see me do. And because they are growing up with a mother that has that world of I've lived in the real world and I've also lived in the virtual world, it's up to me to kind of help them navigate the world we are living in currently, which is also shifting as we speak, right? Um, Especially with the whole government shutdown. And this is the reason why I was touching on parasocial relationships in the first place is because since the government shut down and the things of that nature, I just feel like something that I've taken from the elders, watching and observing and being in the midst of them, when you ask them about the prior govern, what is it? What am I trying to say? Government shutdowns or like just basically deficiencies in the government, right? How did they handle that? And a lot of them, they leaned in on community. They lived together. Siblings lived together. Households lived together, even if they didn't like each other. People had connections in their community to where they were serving, and so people, when they were in in a moment of need, those people that they were prior in a community with was able to show up, and there was no lack. There was no, oh, I have to try to build this shit up from square one all the time, because there was a community of people there to kind of set in, even with children. Like, and when they said that it takes a village to raise a child, that's where that concept came from. Community. You need community to survive the world that we live in. Regardless of what's going on, you need community. And so that's why I was saying I feel like we should shift our relationships from the parasocial ones that we have been pouring into interpersonal ones. And if you do have a parasocial relationship, maybe seeing if this person is somebody that you genuinely just like, you enjoy their energy, you see the growth in yourself by being in their space virtually, and there's no judgment. If you are somebody that feels that connected, maybe you should find people within that community where y'all all like that one creator, right? Find people in your area and y'all connect. Maybe y'all have other things in common. And that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, I'm one of those people where I kind of transmuted what used to be parasocial relationships. I would always try to find a way how I can turn them into interpersonal connections. And sometimes it was a beautiful thing. Sometimes I say, yeah, this is exactly why you should not be meeting motherfuckers online, which is why I'm also saying parasocial relationships are not healthy. You only see what people project. And virtually people hide even way like hide way more than what they hide in person. And when you're in person, you can study somebody and not study them in a weird ass like I want your life way, but you can see this person just operate naturally and out of like natural occurrences. So whenever fear is invoked, you see the natural reaction versus social media is gonna okay, set up the camera. I'm in 3, 2, 1, put the filter over it. I'm going to be scared in 3, 2, 1, right? And so that's what I'm trying to say is like that's those are the things that parasocial relationships do hide. And then also you start to compare yourself. A lot of times when you are so invested in people's lives and you see the growth in theirs, but then you realize you've been watching them for 2 to 3 years, and there's not a lot of development in your own life. It can start to make you feel discouraged, but it's still up to you to do your thing. So, okay, Ali, hold on. Okay, Ali, I'm about to end the video. Okay, I'm about to get on then. So, mama, I gotta go be a mom. Y'all see that? Just like that, I gotta go be a mom. So, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And we're gonna tap in for Mental Health Monday.